Hi everyone, welcome to your Vinyasa yoga class. Today is going to be a more intermediate flow. Oftentimes in yoga, we talk about the goal being to clear the thoughts from the head. But sometimes it can feel like this game of some of the thoughts are good, some are bad, and what to do with them. And so, kind of going along the lines of pulling out the good thoughts, today's class will be focused on sort of pulling those ideas down, sort of as if they're clouds up in the sky and you could reach down and pull them in. And going along with that sort of theme today, we'll be using a mudra called the Hakini mudra, which I'll explain more in class. But just for now, it's good to know that in yoga philosophy, they talk about the Hakini mudra helping with memory and concentration. On a more physical note, it strengthens the wrists and the hands, and we'll also be moving it up overhead a bit, so we'll get into the shoulders as well. Mudras are also good just in general to kind of mix things up so that you don't get kind of mechanical and fall into a routine with your yoga practice. So it's good to kind of spice things up with them. And so today's practice will be focusing on, like I said, the wrists, hands, and shoulders, as well as the lower body. So kind of a mix of both the upper and the lower body today to balance things out. We're going to start today's class in child's pose, bringing the big toes to touch, taking the knees out wide, and walking the palms forward in front of you. Letting the forehead come to rest on the mat and connecting to the breath here. Connecting to the body, fully arriving from whatever you were doing before this, carving out this space for yourself on your mat today. Taking another couple deep breaths here. We're going to get some music going and start warming up. But first, I wanted to just touch on a mudra we'll be using throughout class. It's called the Hakini mudra, and you create it by touching the tips of your fingers together as if you're holding a ball between your hands. Throughout class, we'll be using this in front of the chest, also overhead. If it's uncomfortable at all in your shoulders, feel free to drop it. So it's sort of a take it or leave it, and as always, everything I say is a recommendation. This is your practice. So we'll start in a tabletop all fours position and extending the right leg out beside you, sealing that foot onto the ground. We'll move through some cat-cows. Inhaling, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze. Exhale, rounding the spine. Flowing with your breath here in this cat-cow variation. Last breath or so here. After this, we're going to step the right foot between the hands and lift up into Anjaneyasana, sweeping the arms up overhead. Opportunity to connect the fingertips here and take that Hakini mudra. You'll notice an activation in the shoulders here. Slowly floating the hands back down to the mat. From here, we're going to head to half Hanuman, tenting the fingers, straightening the right leg, and flipping the right toes up. Taking a breath in here, and on your exhale, releasing fully into it. And if it feels right, maybe sitting the hips all the way down onto the mat and sinking into this stretch deeper. As we come out of this, gathering some momentum to rebend into the right knee, stepping into a low lunge, peeling that left knee off the ground. And from here, we're going to shift to the left, pivoting all 10 toes towards the left, straightening both legs, landing in a prasarita. We're going to take another turn after this, again to the left. So we're sort of spiraling in a circle here, finding a low lunge towards the left foot this time. Float the right knee down to the mat, and we'll shift into half Hanuman. straightening the left leg. So we're going to move through the postures we just did on the right side, but in the reverse order on this side. Option to sink a little deeper here, bringing the hips all the way down. As we come out of this pose, re-bending into the left knee. We'll keep the right knee grounded as we reach up into Anjaneyasana. Maybe taking the mudra overhead. And then floating the hands down inside the left foot. We'll send the left leg out to the left again here and moving through some cat-cows on the other side. Last one here. As we slide the left knee towards the right, landing back in a child's pose, just coming back through center for a moment. Maybe connecting with an intention you have for today's practice. From here, we'll start to make our way to a downward dog. Taking your time getting there, pressing the hips up, sinking the heels down towards the mat. Maybe taking some light movements here, bending one knee and then the other. Noticing your 4 points of connection with the earth. Slowly, we'll start to walk the hands back towards the feet, one hand at a time. Making your way to a forward fold. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows here, releasing the spine. And then we'll just do a smooth transition. Turn yourself to face the front of the mat before we unravel all the way up to stand. Grounding down through the feet to reach up tall through the hands. Maybe catching a hold of that mudra and bringing it down in front of the heart. On an inhale, we'll reach the hands up and exhale, pour yourself forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead again, and then this time grounding through the right foot, we'll step the left foot back, dropping that left knee down, taking a breath in here in Anjaneyasana, maybe gazing up for a moment. Exhale, drop the hands down, lift the back knee, we'll inhale in a low lunge. Exhale, pivot to the left, Prasarita, as we transition to the back of the mat. Inhale, low lunge towards the left foot. Exhale, drop the right knee down, half Hanuman. Inhale, low lunge, lifting back up, and exhale, stepping the right foot to meet the left at the back of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening the spine. Exhale, refolding. Inhale, float yourself all the way up to stand, reaching up tall. Exhale, bringing the mudra down in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up tall. And this time, grounding through the left foot, we'll step the right toes back, dropping that right knee. Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands plant. Inhale, low lunge. And then exhale, pivoting to the right, Prasarita. Inhale to the right again, low lunge. Exhale, dropping down, half Hanuman, sinking back. Inhale, rebending, low lunge, lifts up. And exhale, step the left foot to meet the right at the top of the mat. We'll inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, refold. On another inhale, float it all the way up. Circle the arms overhead. Exhale, bring it through to heart center. Inhale, reaching the hands up overhead. Exhale, step the left foot back. Drop the knee, Anjaneyasana, taking a breath in. Exhale, float the hands down. Inhale, low lunge, lifts you up. And exhale, pivoting to the left, Prasarita. Inhale, low lunge, transitioning to the back. And exhale, gliding back into a half Hanuman, dropping the right knee. Inhale, low lunge, lifts you up. And this time, exhale, we'll meet in a standing splits, lifting the right leg, floating it up high. And on an in-breath, step the right foot forward, we'll halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward, Uttanasana. And inhale, reaching up. Circle the hands up. Inhale, we'll take the other side, reaching up tall. Step the right foot back this time. Drop the right knee, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, the hands plant. Inhale, low lunge. And exhale, Prasarita to the right. Inhale towards the right knee, low lunge. Exhale, drop it back, half Hanuman. Inhale, shifting forward, low lunge. And this time, standing splits on your exhale. The left leg floats. Inhale, step the left foot to meet the right and halfway lift. Exhale, refolding. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, bring it through center, Tadasana. Start to sink the hips back, bending the knees. Option to keep the fingers touching here, or let that go. But we're finding an Utkatasana chair pose, engaging in the core, hugging the navel towards the spine. One last breath in here. Exhale, folding forward, let it go. On an inhale, plant the hands in front of you, step it back to plank. Exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, we'll find a cobra on the breath in, and exhale, all the way back to downward dog. We'll take a deep breath in through the nose, exhaling out of the mouth here. Inhale the right leg high. Exhale, stepping the foot between the hands. Inhaling, low lunge, lifting the gaze. Exhale, standing splits, kicking yourself forward. And then from here, on an inhale, just a kick of that left foot in towards the hip to gather some momentum as you kick it back out towards the back of the mat, stepping down into low lunge and then lifting up into high lunge. Staying high on the ball of that back foot, tucking the tailbone under here, an option to reconnect to the fingertips overhead. On an inhale, we'll straighten the legs and pivot over towards the left, reaching up tall before exhale, tossing the hands down to the ground, landing in a Prasarita. Inhaling, halfway lift, and exhale, refolding into it. Option to walk the hands back behind you, or maybe reaching for opposite ankles. Finding what feels good here. As we come out of this, walking the hands underneath the shoulders, planting through the right hand, either on the mat or on a block, we'll inhale the left arm up to the sky and find a half bind, sliding the left forearm along the low back in this twist, taking another breath in, and then starting to pivot the right toes towards the front of the mat, re-bending into that right knee and climbing up into a side angle pose with that half bind. From here, an inhale floats you up into peaceful, using that right arm overhead to lift you up, and keeping the left arm behind you, taking a breath in here. And then exhale, open the arms out to the sides. We'll land in Warrior Two. Another breath in here. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down, low lunge. Inhale, step it back to plank. Exhale, lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhaling, upward facing. Exhale, downward dog. Always the option to take whatever variation of a vinyasa works best for you. We'll take a deep breath in here and exhale, sigh it out. As we start the other side, we'll inhale the left leg high, exhale, stepping through. Inhale, low lunge, and exhale propels you forward into that standing splits. On an inhale, bending the right knee, gathering some momentum, and then rolling it back. Land the toes down. Inhaling, high lunge with a Hakini Mudra. Gazing out in front of you, a deep bend in the left knee. On an inhale, we'll straighten the legs, pivot to the right, and reach up tall. Before exhale, tumbling forward into Prasarita. Finding what feels good here. Maybe enjoying a shift in perspective as you look at everything from an upside down viewpoint. As we start to come out of this, we'll walk the hands underneath the shoulders. This time, peeling the right arm open towards the clouds and circling it behind you to find a half bind. Really grounding down through the left hand to twist into this. As we start to crawl our way towards the left toes, towards the front of the mat, and lift up into side angle. You might lift the gaze up over the right shoulder, really grounding through the outer edge of the right foot. Inhale, lifting the left arm up overhead, landing in peaceful. And then exhale, unraveling into Warrior Two. Landing here for a breath in. Exhale, hands to the mat, low lunge. Inhale, plank pose, and Vinyasa. Moving with your breath. We'll meet in downward dog. Taking a deep breath in and exhale, sighing it out. Coming back to the breath. We'll take this next side one breath per movement, so moving a little bit quicker here, but the same sequence. So inhaling the right leg high, exhale, stepping through, inhaling low lunge, exhale, standing splits, inhale, finding that kick back with the left foot, exhale, propelling that foot back, landing down, inhale to rise up, high lunge. On another inhale, straighten the legs, pivot to the left. Exhale, pour it forward, Prasarita. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, refolding. Inhale, coming out of this, planting the hands in front of you and peeling the left arm open. We'll find a half bind. Starting to shift to the right, pivoting the right toes out, lifting up into side angle. Using the breath here on an inhale to float up into peaceful, and exhale, coming down into warrior two. Another exhale carries us back down to the mat, low lunge, moving through plank, chaturanga, vinyasa. Down dog is where we'll meet. Taking a deep breath in, exhaling it out. We'll inhale the left leg high, taking the other side. Exhale, stepping through. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, standing splits. Inhale, bending the right knee, kick it back. Exhale, stepping back. Inhale, lifting up tall, staying for the exhale, and then inhale, pivot it to the right. Exhale, pour it forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, re-bending. Catching the breath here as we come out of this. Inhale the right arm up and behind you, weaving it back for that bind. As we start to shift towards the left foot, inching our way up into side angle, and inhaling up into peaceful, keeping the half bind with the right arm. Exhale, unraveling warrior two. Planting the hands down, low lunge. Inhaling to plank. And your vinyasa will meet in downward dog. We'll all meet in a child's pose, dropping the knees down, taking a rest, taking a breath here, reconnecting with the breath. As we prepare to start moving again, we'll be adding a few things in. We'll start with the right side. Inhale, floating the right leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, stepping through. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, shifting into half splits. Taking a breath in here. And on an exhale, bend the left knee, kick the foot back. On an inhale, we're gonna peel ourselves open to the left into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose, balancing on the right arm and the right leg. Taking a breath in here, really expanding. Before landing down into Warrior Two as you step the left foot back. Inhale, reaching up into Peaceful, taking a half bind with the left arm. And then exhale, pouring down onto that right knee, side angle. Option to stick with the half bind, or maybe taking a full bind. As we take another breath in here, before dissolving this into Prasarita, let it go. Letting the head hang here. Letting go of any tension in the neck, in the shoulders. Maybe shifting some of the weight into the toes. And as we come out of this, walking the hands in front, we'll pivot the heels in and the toes out, finding a bend in the knees and climb yourself upright. Bringing the hands in front of the heart, whether you want to take the mudra, it's another opportunity here. And then just finding some light movement back and forth. Drifting side to side here. On an inhale, we'll straighten the legs, reach the arms up. And then on an exhale, as if you could peel a cloud open, press down into Warrior Two. From here, low lunge. Staying here in this low lunge, we're going to shift into standing splits again. So we've been here before, but we're going to find a variation. A block would be a great tool here, as we're going to find a twist, grounding down into the left hand and reaching the right hand up. You can stay here if this feels good. Another option is to bend the left knee and reach for that foot. It's that sort of movement we've been doing throughout class, kicking the foot back. If you've got a hold of the foot, start to peel the hips open, sort of like Ardha Chandrasana, finding that opening here. Wherever you're at, we'll just let that go, dropping the right hand down, keeping the left leg floated. We'll shift to standing upright with the left knee lifted. So one leg Tadasana, bringing the hands to the hips. And we're going to move through some balancing postures here. So option to grab for the left knee or the left big toe. Finding a place you can hold on to here as you extend that left leg in front of you, reaching the right arm up to the sky. And then we'll find a twisted variation. So switching out the hands, maybe grabbing for the outer edge of the left foot with the right hand and peeling that left arm back. Bringing everything back through center, step the left foot down and just release it, shake it out. We'll inhale, reaching up. Exhale, fold forward. You can step or hop it back, move through a vinyasa, or just go straight to downward dog. Coming back to the breath here. Inhaling the left leg high this time. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, standing splits. Inhaling here, and then exhale, we'll start to bend the right knee, kicking the heel in. And an inhale, as you kick it back out, peeling everything open. Ardha Chandrasana, balancing on the left hand and the left foot. Taking a breath in here, expanding. And then exhale, landing down, warrior two. Inhale, peaceful with a half bind. Exhale, tipping forward. Side angle, keeping the right arm behind you, maybe reaching for a full bind. Strong through the legs here. And as we let go of this, pivot into Prasarita. Walking the hands in front of you, we'll pivot the heels in again, bending the knees. And this time, leaving the hands on the thighs, we'll just dip the shoulders side to side here, finding a nice stretch. Maybe shifting the hips side to side as well. On an inhale, straighten the legs, reach the arms up. Exhale, warrior two, floating down. Inhaling here, and exhale, low lunge. Staying here. We'll shift into standing splits again. Staying here for a little bit longer. As we find a twist, peeling the left arm open. And maybe finding a bend in the right knee, enough so that you can reach back and grab that foot with the left hand. Finding a twisted Ardha Chandrasana, Chapasana variation. As we come out of this, letting go of the foot, dropping both hands down, and then sort of pendulum swinging up to stand upright, bringing the right knee up with you. We'll bring the hands to the hips as we get ready for this balancing posture, either grabbing a hold of the right knee or the right big toe, keeping the hips square in front of you, and maybe offering the left hand up overhead. Just here for a moment before we start to switch out to a twist. Grabbing a hold of the outer edge of the left foot or the right foot or the right knee. And then we'll bring everything back through center, dropping it down, shake it out. We'll start to slow it down here. Inhale, reaching the arms up overhead. Maybe connecting the fingertips, finding that Hakini Mudra again. Bringing it through in front of the chest, and we're going to sink the hips back into chair pose, Utkatasana. Maybe finding that on each exhale, you sink a little bit deeper, letting gravity pull you closer and closer to the mat, lower and lower, coming all the way down, maybe with a plop. Landing in boat pose. So balancing on the hips here, lifting the arms, lifting the legs. Option to grab a hold of the big toes with the peace sign fingers. Straightening the legs out in front of you and finding a V shape here. If you fall out, just come back in. From here, letting go of the toes if you have them. And we'll rock back into Halasana, kicking the legs back over the head. This is a great balance to boat pose. As we come out of this one, we'll rock forward into a seat and then slide the right shin in front of you, parallel to the front of the mat. We're headed into pigeon pose, so swinging the left leg out behind you. And we're going to stay lifted for a couple moments here, finding a bit of a back bend. So maybe you're tenting the fingers, or maybe you have blocks under the hands. Staying active through the legs here to keep the balance. And really breathing deeply into the chest. We'll start to come down, letting that go, resting the head maybe on the forearms, or maybe stacking fists and resting the forehead on that. Finding a place you can rest in. Just another breath or so here. We'll start to come out, walking yourself up onto your hands, leaning over to the right and swing the left leg around and in front, sealing the sole of the right foot into the left thigh. And we'll just inhale, reaching the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding over that left leg, draping the torso over it. Bowing the head forward. Chin towards the chest here. A couple more breaths here. Maybe sinking a little bit deeper. And as we come out, plant the right hand behind you, lifting up onto the right shin. We'll find a stargazer to balance that out. Lowering back down. And we'll take pigeon on the other side, sliding the left shin in front this time. Swinging the right leg back behind and staying lifted for those few breaths. Spreading wide through the collarbones here. Just enjoying this heart opener, taking some deep breaths. Slowly starting to crawl down, bringing the forehead to rest, finding a variation that feels good here to pause in for a few moments. If the mind has wandered up somewhere in the clouds, just bringing it back down here in this moment. Another few breaths here, maybe sinking a little bit deeper. Like a really heavy cloud that was full of rain. We'll slowly start to come out, walking the hands back up and shifting the right leg around and in front. We'll find that forward fold again here. Inhale, reaching the arms up. And exhale, folding forward. Another breath or so here. Enjoying the hamstring stretch. Before unraveling the spine, planting the left hand behind you and lifting up, finding that counter stretch, stargazer. And then floating back down. We're going to find a wide-legged fold, sort of the seated version of a prasarita. So this will feel familiar. So bringing the legs wide at an angle, we'll walk the hands forward and just sort of sink into this, letting the head drop, letting the spine curve, releasing any hold, any tension, and just relaxing completely into this. Slowly moving out of this, gently. We'll start to walk the hands back, using the hands to bring the legs back together, and rolling onto our backs, planting the feet down on the mat, walking them wide towards the edges of the mat, and dropping the knees together. Maybe bringing one hand to the belly, one hand to the chest. And feeling the breath move in and out. I like this idea that ideas themselves kind of float through our heads like clouds passing by. And we can use that and sort of reach for them and bring them down into reality. Start to bring the knees into the chest, wrap your arms around them, give yourself a big hug. One great way to bring some ideas down is by journaling or talking to someone about them, making it real. Releasing that hold, we'll land in Shavasana, releasing the legs and the arms, sprawling out on your mat. And this is where I'll leave you today. Thank you for showing up for yourself, for your practice. If you have extra time, enjoy Shavasana for longer. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day.